Those of you who have been listening to me for many years know that I said many, many years ago what Jesus meant when he said, if your eye be single, your body will fill with light. And what do we say? If you stimulate the pineal gland of your body, your body will fill with melatonin. And we were talking about melatonin 20 years ago. And what did we recently see from science? Remember, Jesus said, if your eye be single, pineal gland, your body will fill with light. Now, what does this say? The pineal gland or epiphysis synthesizes and secretes melatonin, a structurally simple hormone that communicates information about environmental lighting to various parts of the body. The light transducing ability of the pineal gland has led some to call the pineal the third eye. Jesus said, if your eye be single, your body will fill with light. Scientists say that the pineal gland secretes melatonin that communicates information about environmental lighting to various parts of the body. That's a deal sealer. That's proof. Go across the street to the church. Ask them, show me some proof. You know what they're going to say? You need faith. And what? And me. You got to believe what I say because I'm Pastor McFeely. Stop. But I mean, aren't people, can't we be intelligent enough and mature enough to say, my God, you're seeing all of this stuff, even coming out of scriptures, because of the fact that it was all written by Greek mythologists and who had access to the works of Democritus and Plato and Aristotle and Socrates and Diogenes and all of these Eases who knew all of this stuff. Consider the word epiphysis. See it there? The pineal gland or epiphysis. The pineal gland in the center of your brain, which is the light receptor of the brain, is called epiphysis. If you look up the word epiphysis in any dictionary, it will say the pineal gland. If you look up the word pineal gland, it will say epiphysis. Now, consider the word epiphysis, then consider the word epiphany. Consider that the epiphysis or pineal gland is the seventh seal, the seventh chakra, that point of kundalini or enlightenment, all right? It's the place of enlightenment. Now, what does the word epiphany mean? An epiphany, from ancient Greek, manifestation, a striking appearance, the sudden realization or comprehension of the largest essence or meaning of something, a divine manifestation. So then why do they call the pineal gland, the single eye, epiphysis, which means a divine manifestation, an appearance of divine or superhuman being, an illuminating realization of discovery, often resulting in personal feeling of elation, awe, or wonder? Why do they call the single eye, the pineal gland of the brain, epiphysis? If that's not what it's, because that is what reveals the manifestation of the higher photon lights that we call God and Jesus. It is through the single eye. And that is the thing that religious people avoid like the plague, manifesting the light through the single eye in meditation. And when they do that, they miss the entire Jesus message entirely. Because epiphany doesn't happen in a church. Epiphany doesn't happen on some holiday. Epiphany happens in your brain. And that's the proof. Because epiphany, epiphysis, is the pineal gland of the brain, and the pineal gland is in the center of your brain. That's the proof. Now, I show you these things because I want you to have confidence in what you're seeing and what you're hearing here. I have never, since I have been here, I have never said anything and told you, well, you should believe this way, or you should have faith. Every single time that I have ever been here, ever said a word, I have provided scientific proof about what I've said. And I have given you the names of the scientists or the physicists who said it, and I have showed you the scriptures in the Bible where it coordinates. Now, the information that we're getting here, and you're seeing here, is obviously coming from someplace, from somebody. Nobody else is saying this, so why? Who is it? Look around. I don't know. Where is it? Who's in this room with us? Who's feeding me? Well, you know, isn't it amazing? I said, who's in this room with us? There's some guy standing here we can't see. Checking on me if I'm saying the right stuff. What's to say? But when your frequency shifts here in the upcoming 24, you'll see this guy. What has been said here about the unknown has been proven to be true in the world of the known. And the reason that I am shouting it out this time is because we're running out of time in our approach to the 24, and I want you to be confident that nothing will ever be said from this speaker's platform that is not proven scientifically. Nothing. Now, in our last meeting together, we hit on 2 points that stirred interest. One, I said Adam and Eve are not two people. Adam and Eve is a mythology story. I mean, what were two English people doing in the middle of this primeval place? Adam and Eve are part of us. Adam and Eve are parts of the male and the female psyche in every being. You all have Adam and you all have Eve. We all do. Some people have a little too much Adam, some people have a little too much Eve, but I mean, that's not the problem. I'm not going to get into that. The second point, Exodus is not something that happened in Egypt. It never happened. There never were hundreds of thousands of Jewish people roaming around the desert. There never was a guy who was able to open the Red Sea so everybody can run across. It never happened. It is much more important than that. It happens to every human being on the face of the planet in here. Exodus is in your brain where you make your escape from the bondage of the material and the doctrinal and the governmental and the corporate and the religious left side that imprint, whatever the word is, that screws your head up, and so that you can cross the Red Sea, which is the corpus callosum of the brain, to the promised land, which is the right side. Now, the idea of Adam and Eve representing not two people, but that which is in every living being is in the Bible. I wouldn't make this stuff up. I don't have any right to make things up and just say, listen, there wasn't no Adam and Eve. This is Adam and Eve were one person inside of you. So you could look at me and you say, well, how the heck, where you get off saying that? I'll show you where I get off saying that. I get off saying it because Genesis 5:1 says, male and female created he them and called their name Adam. End of discussion. Now, I mean, how long have you been alive and people say, well, you know, that woman was the one that screwed everything up because the snake told her to eat the apple. And then, you know, anybody could tell you when a snake comes up and says something, you really shouldn't listen to them. Jesus. You know, no wonder we're all nuts. Brilliant people. You got doctors and scientists and all this, and they come in church and they check their brains at the door and they sit there and they listen to this guy tell them about the snake told the lady to eat the apple, and from that goes to everything that gets screwed up. The lady did it, so she's got to wear a hat when she goes in a church now. So there it is. We are all male and we are all female. The male part is the physical and the intellectual. The female part is the emotional, boo-hoo, and the spiritual. And so they've got to come together like that, and that makes the complete person. And yet religion of all kinds all over the world have taken that stupid story about a woman talking to a snake and used that to oppress women from the earliest possible time. And I mean, you've got some places now where a woman walks around and she's got a windshield in the front of her face to see out. So the Bible itself makes it clear that in the story, religion has misinterpreted to subvert the woman under the man. Adam is both Adam and Eve. It is one being. It is one mind that is both intellect and emotion, and it was the emotion that gave in to the serpent. Well, who's the serpent? If you feel around the back, you'll see a thing that goes up your back, and that's the serpent. That's the spine. And when the serpent can rise as the Kundalini serpent, or it can be the aggressive bodily function that it causes us to get in all kinds of trouble. But not understanding this has caused religion to bring down a formal bondage against women, even though it says in the book it's all male and female. There was no two people that are any different than either. They're all called Adam, and they're all male and female. So it wasn't a woman that did this. It was, the emotional part of our being that gives in to the temptations to do wrong. But what did we do? We deliberately, when I say we, I'm talking about the religions of the world, deliberately manipulated the mythology to literally create a bizarre social order in which women are considered less than men, not on the basis of intelligence, but on the basis of their sex. And it was a deliberate thing that was done. I mean, come on. Did you ever read the Declaration of Independence? We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Oh, I know, but that just means mankind. Oh, no, it does not, because until 75 years ago, women were not allowed to vote under the Declaration of Independence. Oh, no, it meant all men are created equal. And it comes from the crap that poured out from religion when they misinterpreted the scriptures and said the woman talked to the snake. And consider it was only 100 years ago when women in this country were allowed to vote. How can something like this, which permeates all of religion, be considered good? It is the epitome of evil, and yet it is the foundation of religion. The foundation of religion is the epitome of evil because they deliberately degrade one party of the human life experience, namely the female.